What's going on, creeps? I'm back in living color. Doc Fugate in your fucking house. Well, my phone is off, and I have my back door locked, and I'm standing at the front door right now, so we are not getting any shitty visitors today that are gonna ruin our good time. And what I think I'm gonna do is give you what I was not able to fully give you on Friday, the 13th. But it is no longer Friday, the 13th. So what I'm gonna do is dedicate this episode to another installment in a big horror franchise that is universally spurned or just flat out unknown. And if you don't know, or you can't guess what I'm talking about Halloween 666, The Curse of Michael Myers. Maybe one of the worst installments in any horror movie ever, because it takes itself so astonishingly seriously, but has little to no substance whatsoever injected into it. It's like, if you're a Star Wars fan, it's basically the Phantom Menace of Halloween movies. So if you didn't already know, if I haven't said this before, I don't know, I haven't gone back and checked through my records, but I'm not a huge fan of any other Halloween other than the first Halloween. I mean, I own them all, I watch them all. I do love Halloween, I'm not going to deny that, but I don't see any of them as a sincerely amazing movie like in my top 20 movies. I mean, Halloween, the original, might be my favorite horror movie ever made. There's a good chance that it is. I don't like to have to pigeonhole myself and say what my favorite of favorites is, but there's a good chance that that's my favorite horror movie ever. But that's why I go so hard on these other ones after that. I mean, I'm aware of the fact that John Carpenter wrote Halloween Part 2, but I'm also aware of the fact that he didn't really want to have... Well, he didn't want Michael Myers to be in it at all, so he didn't really want to do it. So, yeah, I just, I think that the whole power behind the story and of the mythology of Michael Myers is, that everything is so unclear, that everything is left up to your own interpretation. That's kind of the root of horror, isn't it? The unknown. We all fear the unknown. That's how I feel, at least. So, opinions all out of the way there. We got our cards all out on the table. Halloween 6 is a fucking bad movie. I mean, there was a producer's cut that was released a few years ago that's a bit more, the theatrical cut is one of the top worst movies ever cut together. I mean, it's one of those movies that was so clearly butchered on the editing table. It's shocking that this wasn't Joe Chappelle, I think, was the director's name. I mean, unless that's the new Alan Smithy, I'm just shocked that this wasn't, that guy allowed his name to be put on that movie. I mean, you can tell he had essentially nothing to do with the final cut for the theatrical one. But I mean, the producer's one is a little bit more coherent, but by no means is it a great movie. Which is the precise reason why I'm talking about this, because I promised to deliver a hard-hitting expose on a bad horror movie, so here we go. This one's going to be a lot more hard-hitting than me getting in an argument with my colleague, who has yet to say anything to me since Friday, by the way. But that's neither here nor there. So yeah, like I said, this movie's basically the Phantom Menace of Halloween movies. To me, I'm happy and I'm glad that that Laurie Strode is not even going to be Michael Myers' sister in the new Halloween movie, that they're ignoring Halloween 2, and it's just going to take... The only thing that exists in this new Halloween sequel is the original Halloween, which makes me happy because, like I explained, the first Halloween is the only one I really love. This one takes the polar opposite take on that, and it explains everything about Michael Myers in painstaking detail, to the point where he is defeated at the end of this movie by Paul Rudd, Mr. Ant-Man himself, who plays Tommy, the boy that is being terrorized in the first one that Laurie has to take under her wing and save. He's that little boy that she was babysitting. So at the end of the movie, Michael Myers is stopped by him casting runes on him, because it turns out that Michael Myers is a servant of a druidic cult and the Curse of the Thorn. So everything that he's done has been orchestrated by an ancient cult. If you'd prefer not to hear anything more about this in fear of it ruining your enjoyment of the Halloween franchise, I'd totally understand if you turn this off right now, because we're about to go even deeper and stupider than what I just said. That was just a little trigger warning. I like giving you those just so you know. All right, so let's take it back. Let's go way, way, way back to the original. Do we recall when Dr. Sam Loomis is leaving the hospital in a fury after Michael has escaped, arguing with the doctors, who was denying that he knew how to drive a car, and he was doing quite a good job last night. Remember that? All right, so that doctor, whom Dr. Loomis is arguing with in that fucking arbitrary throwaway scene, turns out to be the main antagonist. If we recall the ending of the 5th Halloween movie, Michael gets locked up in the Haddonfield Sheriff's Station, but a mysterious figure comes with the same tattoo that has appeared on Michael's arm in that exact movie. Like, he never had the tattoo before, but in the 5th movie, all of a sudden he's got the tattoo on his wrist. And this man who is walking into the police station with the briefcase, you can see, has the same identical tattoo. And then immediately after he has walked in, Michael's cell has exploded and he is gone again. Who was this mysterious man? How did Michael get out? And it turns out, I mean, when I was younger, I hadn't seen this one until I was maybe like 14 or 15, something like that. So I didn't even know this movie existed until that point. I'd seen every single one. And from the Halloween 4 and 5 timeline, I was so fucking confused as to like what had happened. Because we go from that, and then 6, which I didn't know about, and then H2O, which kind of just picks up where 2 left off, and we kind of get the other 4, 5, and 6 are kind of just thrown out the window. So, in 6, it is explained what the tattoo is, and like I said, it's a very, I already explained it. It's a pretty stupid explanation, and it kind of almost ruined Michael Myers completely. This was the last film appearance of Donald Pleasance. Sadly that he passed away, and sadly that this had to be the last movie that he was in, because this is a fucking piece of crap, and he's in maybe 10-15 minutes of it, and that's when he was added into more in the producer's cut. So, oh man, poor Donnie Pleasance had to act in this movie, and he had to pretend that this wasn't something which completely kind of threw the characters in the trash, because everything that he's done and said in these prior films is, like I said, kind of just thrown away, because all of Michael's crimes, all of his hideous intentions were all created by this, like, millennia-old cult called the Cult of Thorn. And that's where the tattoos and the symbol come from. The Cult of Thorn, who created Michael Myers, and they had him kill his family for a sacrifice of the innocent, which would continue the curse of Thorn and their powers, which included them being able to move the stars into a constellation, which every 5 years causes a murder spree in their vessels of evil, aka Michael Myers. And why he went out on these killing sprees every about 5 years. So in this film we get Paul Rudd, young Paul Rudd, Ant-Man himself, explaining this to us, as well as poor Donnie Pleasance, who has to track down Dr. Wynn, whom he was on bad terms with because he let him learn how to drive. Oh no, wait a minute. It was all his fault that Michael had murdered everyone in the first place. He must have orchestrated his escape all along. Yeah. Needless to say, this is a film that didn't really need the producer's cut and didn't really need to be made at all. But in that argument, you could also say that 4 and 5 also didn't need to be made at all. So this is more of a public service announcement than anything else. This is an explanation to those who didn't know what the fuck happened at the end of 5 and were lucky enough not to have to see Part 6, The Curse of Michael Myers. That is it. They tried saying that it's a cult who made him do everything that he does, and oh yeah, how dare I forget to mention this. In the first scene of the movie, we get to see how the transference of power between these Michael Myers vessels of power that the Cult of Thorn creates are created. They are created through incest. So Michael is in this opening scene in a room
with all of the cult surrounding him and his niece Jamie, who is tied down to a table, and this is cut out from the original one. But I mean, it was pretty implied, and I mean, they didn't really add too much into the producer's cut other than actually showing that this happens. But Michael rapes her so that a baby can be born who is the new evil incarnate at the disposal of the cult of Thorn, who are also, I forgot to mention, are druids. So that is why Paul Rudd's character, Paul Rudd, I don't know what the actor's name is who played him as a kid in the original one. Little Tommy, he is able to cast runes upon him because that is apparent. It is weakness against druidic magic. All right. So I think I've gone enough into this piece of dog shit for you to either know that this is gonna be a fucking horrible movie, or maybe you want to see this one. Maybe you want to see the band get back together. They're all here. Loomis is there for 5 minutes. That doctor from the first one, it turns out that he's got more to do with it than you thought. Same with little Tommy. If you want to see one of Paul Rudd's budding acting roles, then maybe you do want to see this. Maybe I've just piqued your interest in this film. But I really hope that I haven't, because I'm not exaggerating when I'm saying it's straight up torturous. It is an almost impossible movie to watch, and that's why I'm trying to give you this little feedback here, because everything that I've told you is all the information that you can take away from this, and it's not even cool information. It's, like I said, it's like the Phantom Menace and the midi-chlorians explaining that they have, like, magic in their blood, and that's how the Force is. Nope, I don't care. I don't care to hear that. I don't care to hear that an ancient druidic cult made Michael Myers what he is. I just want Michael Myers to be Michael Myers, and my own little painting in my head to be what he is. I don't know, maybe that's selfish, but I don't think slews of sequels really help, especially in things that are more fun because they're more mysterious. I don't know. I'll leave it up to you, creeps. I just wanted to deliver what I wasn't able to deliver on Friday. Fuck Bisbee. I love you. Until next time, creeps.